Good morning, good evening, wherever you are across this beautiful nation and around the globe. This is Deja Brew, waking you up to truth. And I have the pleasure of being joined again by Mike
Hey, everybody.
Skywalker.
I'm back
How you doing?
again.
Yay! And today, our saga kind of continues because we're going to actually compare your cousin and your own experience with him of the hearing the UFO,
Yeah.
those audio sounds, we're going to compare them to Billy Myers'
Oh, wow. How
audio
exciting.
sounds. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share so that I can pull up. We're going to do your audio first,
Okay.
and we'll do the 17-second clip, and then we'll jump over to Billy Myers.
Sounds good.
Let me just grab it real quick. All right. Now we're going to jump over to me pull this back up. Okay, just a minute. I've lost my screen. I can still hear that echoing in my head too, oddly
Yeah.
enough. Isn't that
Yeah.
weird?
Yeah.
Here I am. Okay, do a share screen here now.
Create this sound?
To be honest with you, I personally don't think so. There are not synthesizers on the market that have oscillators that change that randomly. Even if you got 9 or 10 of them going, they wouldn't change from those peaks that quickly.
So a significant thing is this rate of change.
Well, and besides, if you were going to create a noise for a spaceship, you'd be hard put to come up with something as original as this. There's another alignment there.
Okay, Lee, what we can do here is...
Intrigued by the findings, Lee Elders takes the tape to Robin Shellman, who has studied the sounds of the earlier craft.
We're showing this throbbing, modulating beat that we hear on the tape. This beat, or modulation, occurs at these frequency peaks. Each one of these peaks is a discrete frequency. If you wanted to give a visual display, let's say we're talking a motor. Could be a motor, a shaft of a motor with 4 magnetic poles or coils around this shaft. The curious thing about this, it changes from 4 to 5, 6, 7, all the way up to a number that is difficult to discern. At a certain point, you're going to generate a certain amount of magnetism. And then later on, you want a stronger field. Well, you're going to select 8 fields. All right, now you're going to hear 8 pulses on the tape. And then later on, you want a stronger field. You can select 16, 32.
Is there anything unusual about this?
I would think it's highly unusual. I don't really see any application for it, with the exception of, like I say, either generating a magnetic wave of some sort for laboratory purposes or maybe in this case propulsion.
Without ever having seen a picture of the new beam ship, Shellman has drawn a representation of the spheres and offered an explanation of their function. The tapes hold still another surprise.
Also, another interesting point to note here is we have a steady, there seems to be a steady pattern all throughout all of this random signal. It seems to be a level change very steadily in around 5 to 10 cycles per second, which happens to be in the area of the natural magnetic resonance of Earth, also called the Schumann resonance.
Is that significant in any way?
It could be. It's just interesting to note the correlation there.
The peculiar correlation is something strange.
I mean, why would the correlation be there?
Yeah.
You can see it on the oscilloscope.
Mieir says the beam ships can ride the magnetic field of the Earth. Rognerud's findings seem to bear this out. Going back to computer models of previous beam ships, simulation of the revolving lights reveals a kind of pulsing that matches the varying frequencies. Analyst Jim Delatoso is convinced that the sound and light frequencies are related.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a really great piece of footage right there.
Yeah.
And it really sounds so much like your audio. And all of that makes sense to me that like it has to resonate with the Schumann energy field and that it would pulse, in concert with the
With the
tone
lights.
changes and the
Yeah.
light. Yeah. I'm like, all that makes so much sense to
It
me.
does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Incredible
And the
piece of
whole
footage.
generating, where it's like generating gravity or propulsion. To me, I mean, a UFO has to have something, some machine in there or whatever that is generating or manipulating the gravity, and
Yeah.
why wouldn't you hear the Schumann resonance, if it's up in us, it's up in our atmosphere, it's up in the sky,
Right.
it's
Right.
just amazing.
Right. And it makes sense that it would have to be at a similar pulse with our Earth in order to be here and manipulate the electromagnetics or the gravity or whatever you want to call that. But that's a whole tangent of mine, gravity.
Yeah, right. Hey, and the sound it's really like the old school UFO like movie sound. You know what I mean? Of like the space invaders are taking over, and you're watching the
Right.
movie, and it's that typical. It's almost that typical sound. It's got more
Yeah.
of that actually than mine. The woo woo woo, like I shot you with my laser, kind of. Old school UFO make fun of type of thing going on. It's funny
Yes.
how it's got that to it too.
Yes. Very interesting. Okay. For some reason, I wasn't showing up on camera, but I fixed it, I think.
You fixed it?
I fixed it. Somehow I blipped me. I don't even know. I blipped me out.
There you are.
But here I am again. Yeah. So what else you want to talk about? We got UFOs in the news all over the place lately.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Gosh, there's that video where they just go on and on and on about all the sightings in Hawaii and California over here on the West Coast.
Right? Yeah, there's been like a lot of that. That one, I think maybe you're talking about that one video where like the cool drones did the show in Hawaii,
Yes.
but then California also had a sighting, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it was just those drones." No flipping way, man.
Yeah.
Like you did not see Hawaii's drone show
Right.
from freaking California.
Yeah,
No way.
they're like saying the owners of these drones are just like, well, you know what? I'm done. Thanks for all the fun. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your life.
Yeah. How stupid. But
And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's those drone shows, you know, make you second guess something, you know. It's like, wow, it's like we're getting to a point where, you know, it's almost as if the skies are watered down in a sense. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
When you could see when you see the capability of it's not just, we're not talking about one individual drone. It's getting a group of them and dancing in concert with each other, and they can really make some shapes out there.
Yeah, they sure can. And we've been seeing incredible like shapes in the clouds that clearly to me looks so obvious that it's just like some cloaking device blocking
Right.
out like a big rectangular craft or whatever. But like you don't get right angles in clouds, and you don't get weird shadows like that in clouds that have right angles. Like it has to be some kind of cloaking device on a craft that's up there, like a massive craft.
Yeah. And sometimes you get a little peeksy poo behind the curtain.
Little pixie poo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a couple of I got a couple of recent pictures that I have where I don't even basically go out and go, hey, look, here's I just, if I just share the picture and let the audience, you know, let my
Uh-huh.
friends see what they want to see, you know.
Yeah.
But I know what I see, and it's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's them cloaking, you know, they're cloaking on, they're cloaking off. They're not perfect all the time. It depends on some of the conditions, I'm sure, the atmospheric conditions, if everything's
Yeah.
just right. And you know, one of the last ones that I took, I just took a chance and I said, hey, my friends, in my mind, if you're out there, I'd like to see you again. And I took the phone and took the picture, and I zoom into something amazing, you know. And it's not something like I say that I just go, here's another picture of a UFO. I'll share the picture,
Yeah.
but I don't put a lot on it. You know, I know what it does for me, and I know what I
Yeah.
think about it, but I just want to put it out there for others to get an opportunity to to look at it and wait for them to say something, you know, to
Right.
get a somewhat of a validation. You know, we know the difference between the certain types of clouds, and there's a certain natural cloud phenomenon, and I don't know all the names of them,
Yeah.
but sometimes they do that, you know, where they look like discs stacked on top of each other. You know, we
Sure.
understand that, and this is not the case in a lot of these
Hmm.
pictures.
Right. Yeah. And actually, I have a 21-year-old autistic son that actually does know all of the names of the clouds. And when some of this started showing up, he's like, "Yeah, that's not one of them, Mom."
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Cirrus
"Yeah,
Articula. Yeah,
yeah." Like they're making up new names now to make excuses for
yeah.
this
Whatever
stuff, and
happened
I'm
to,
like,
you know, billowy? You know, we just, you know.
"Right." Now it's a I don't even know. I can't even say it, like cumulus
Yeah, Cumulus
something.
or Rectilia or something,
Yeah,
you know.
something. Some crazy name, Rectilia. That's funny. Yeah. And then there's all that weird light show, lightning stuff that's happening way up above the clouds too, back and forth. And in my opinion, that's like space war. We're watching a space
Star
war,
Wars,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, like pew 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 pew.
yeah.
It's not like heat lightning,
Or
like we used to
ball
have
lightning, yeah.
back in the day, right? This is like crazy lightning that's going on lately. It's crazy. No thunder with it or anything. Just all this like they're shooting,
Yeah.
Pew pew.
Well, there was, you know, a lot of the ancients described, you know, a war up there, and they drew pictures of it,
They
you
did.
know. all
Yeah,
kinds of
that
different pretty little shapes in the sky that were fighting each other.
yes. Yes, that famous, let me see if I can pull that up. That
Yeah, you know
Nuremberg,
exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
the Nuremberg,
Mm-hmm. I stink so.
Germany picture. Yeah, you think so?
Mm-hmm. I smell you.
Mm-hmm. You picking up what I'm throwing down?
Yeah. Look at you. You're going out there and getting it right now.
I'm getting it.
Man, she ain't
I'm getting it.
scared.
Nope. We got it. I'm gonna share it. So everybody knows what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Check this out.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's amazing.
this is so cool. And it clearly is showing. Let me click on one. This is on Etsy, and I don't like Etsy. Can I
Wow.
make that bigger? Let me see if I can scooch it over and make it bigger. Okay, so that's really not such a good picture.
Yeah, but you could see,
Let me get another one.
those are cigar shaped objects that we would consider the cigar shaped ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's to say those crosses aren't wheels within wheels?
Right?
I
I
think of
mean,
that
look at
that
that.
old, remember that old game, what was it, Jacks, where you'd throw the ball and your
Yeah.
jacks. This kind of reminds me of too.
Yeah. Me and my kids still have jacks. We play with jacks. Heck yeah. Hot Wheels and all that fun old stuff. Marbles. But
Then you
yeah,
got
look at
the big
these
black.
cool. I don't know what this big black guy is here. This
Uh,
big old arrow looking thing.
that kind of looks like it's got that whole triangle look thing going. Death
Right?
Star Wars Death Star
Right? And then you've got
or
these
Star
rods.
Destroyer. Yeah.
I've taken pictures of those rods before in the sky. And a lot of people say that those rods are sort of almost biological or something. I don't know, like maybe they're sentient, I guess is how you would say that.
I never really got too much into those. I know some people really get off on those rods, man. And I don't know what to think. I don't really have
Yeah.
much experience with them. You know, a lot of people easily just chalk them up to, oh, that was a bug that flew by the screen, you know.
Mhm.
But they have that look like they have 100 legs, you know, like they're
Yeah, it's
millipedes or
strange.
something.
They're very strange.
And
I don't know what to make of them either.
I was thinking of those drone shows got me thinking about just not only, you know, how it kind of waters down the sky and when I seen that wheel within the wheel a couple of years ago with my wife, and that was like the first thing I said in order to not kind of embarrass myself. I didn't want to jump straight to UFO or, you know, wheel within the wheel. I was just like,
Mhm.
wow, what kind of drone is that, you know? And when you see hundreds of drones at one time making all these different shapes and stuff, it also made me think of the Phoenix lights and how that possibly could have been a test run, you know, like a blue beam project test run, just to see how we would react. The only reason why I would think that I think that is because we're dealing with the triangle shapes and the black
Mhm.
color. And to me, that screams government, that screams our stuff. And it's just, I don't know. I have a funny feeling about the Phoenix lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. You know, and I have some maybe totally different views on the whole Project Bluebeam thing from most people cuz in my opinion and from my line of research that I've done, it's kind of become the norm that if you know about it, if the public knows about it, then that's probably the false flag part of it or whatever. So, I fully believe we're in a binary star system and you know, maybe that's where the Anunnaki come from that the Sumerians wrote about and the Mayans and all of that.
Right.
So, let's say that and some earth extreme changes take place all at the same time or close together, and then they show up and then everybody's like, oh, that's not real, that's Project Bluebeam, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so then when the government says, oh, we have all the answers, come follow us, well
Uh-huh.
then that 1% that could be like the Lizzie people or something,
Yeah.
then they're the ones that we look to be our saviors, if you will,
Right.
right?
The way they put it out there. Yeah.
So, my conspiratorial mind is like always working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like trust nothing, right?
If
I
it
trust
right,
nothing.
absolutely. I've got trust issues too. And when it, especially when it's spoon fed to you over the years like that,
Yeah, because
you're
I mean,
like,
how long have we known about Project Bluebeam now?
right. It's like, not only does it force your mind to say there's something to this, but it screams it so loud. It's like, no, there's more than that. It's more than there's something to it. Yeah, there's something to it. All right.
Hmm.
It's pre-programming.
Right.
It's desensitizing. They always have this agenda for just their little disclosures that they give us. There's always
I
something
agree.
behind it.
Yep. I think so too. And that's why I think, all of these people that are waking up, like in so many different ways, it's being sabotaged, right? So many different ways. Like the whole spiritual movement is being sabotaged with misinformation and disinformation, and
Yeah.
the UFO field is being sabotaged with misinformation.
Right.
And like everywhere you turn, there's propaganda. And you got to be able to have discernment and wade through all the bullshit,
Yeah.
you know?
Even
So,
when I'm sorry, yeah. Even when the Pentagon decided to come out and give us the official disclosure, I wasn't that excited. I
yeah,
was
me
like,
neither.
what's really to be excited about here? There
Yeah.
this is going to be hijacked. And
Hmm.
so finally, as an experiencer, we've been going our whole life trying to convince others of what's out there and what we've experienced, and we've been called crazy our whole life. And then the government comes out, and we get excited because the Pentagon says it's a real
Yeah.
thing. So now we're not crazy, right? Oh, now they got scientists on their side that are saying experiencers experience all sorts of problems from being exposed. Anything
Hmm.
that comes close to these UFOs, now they want to say we got brain issues and stuff because we're
Right.
experiencers. So here we go
Right.
again.
Right. Right. And then like David Grush, people like David Grush come out, and the next thing you know, they're ruining his reputation, right?
Yeah,
He had a total smear campaign put
it's
up against
happening.
him by the Pentagon and everyone. I mean, it's a shame. It's a real shame. And it creates all of this cognitive
Mm.
dissonance. Did
Yeah.
I say that word right?
Yes, you did. Cognitive
Okay. Yeah.
dissonance.
Yeah. And oh, and just a side note, when I worked for MUFON and I was involved in that research study program that they did,
Uh-huh.
they had this group called OPUS that came in, and Lester Velez, and of course, Mr. Bigelow was part of it because he was buying MUFON at that time. So all of them were watching. It was like all hands on deck. All the important people were looking, right? Senator Harry Reid was looking, paying attention. But they had psychologists that evaluated us 9 ways from Sunday, and then different areas of research as well. And they divided us in two groups: the ones who claimed they'd had experiences and the ones that had never had experience, but maybe thought they saw a UFO once, right?
Okay.
And so, and then we all went through the same psychological profiling and testing for psychological stuff. And at the end of it, the findings were that everybody involved was not crazy. Like they really did experience something, or at least they fully believed they
Oh yeah.
experienced something. And then it went through all the commonalities between us. And the biggest one in that was that we were all being told about a spiritual awakening happening. I was like, that's phenomenal.
See,
Yeah.
that's something else I wanted to talk about between you and I. The messages that you got when you were a child, You know, you've heard that word, the Great Awakening, longer than probably anybody.
Yeah.
And
It
here
wasn't
and we
used at
are.
all. Mm.
So I believe that there's definitely a reason that we found each other. Um,
Yeah.
I need you, you need me. This is the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not much of a news watcher. I don't sit there and you know, get all my information from that. But I'm on my phone a whole lot, and
Right.
I seem to get a lot of news just through my feed, just through what people are saying. And gosh, it's going down right now.
It is.
It really is. I know we say that,
Yeah.
but this
But
time
I mean, it
there's
really is like there's a huge increase in all of this information, all of it, like not just spiritually. Go ahead. I didn't mean to
yeah.
interrupt you. I'm
No,
just stoked. I'm
I
so
was pretty
stoked.
much done. I mean, other than, you know, what was there another assassination attempt
Oh
on
my God, yes.
I don't know much about something about a golf course or something,
Yes.
but
And see, I don't watch TV per se, right? I don't turn none of us do in my house. We don't turn the TV on just to watch TV programming, right?
yeah, right.
That we watch a lot of independent people that are out there now on all of the platforms doing reporting and different things. And yeah, as soon as that came across my desk today, I jumped all over that and did a video on it right away because I was like, holy crap, here we go again, right? I
Yeah,
mean, like they're desperate, man. They're
yeah,
desperate. They're grasping at straws. They're
yeah.
desperate.
They're just mad
Yeah.
because this man is not a politician.
That's right. That's right. And you know, Gitmo's had some expansion done to it in past years, and I think there's a lot of people worried about that.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say on all that. But I wanted to show you some more cool stuff, UFOs in the news. So
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen because we've got apparently now all of the police officers across the United States have a handy dandy handbook on how to deal with UFOs. How crazy is that?
Oh, they got a
So it,
handbook, so we've got it all figured
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, it's totally happening, man. It's we've got the handbook now.
Oh, we're there. We finally made it.
Yeah. All right, let me get this little weird video out of the way here. It's not closing. There it goes. So this is the dailymail.com, but it's even on Microsoft News and like all over the place. Police police chiefs of America's largest cities have published the first guide about UAPs, which details chilling encounters and how officers can report such incidents. It's an 11-page document that warns that unidentified flying objects pose significant safety risks to law enforcement air support units, urging teams to be vigilant when they are in the helicopters.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Because, you know, they're not checking in with ATF or
Right.
whatever, not
Yeah.
ATF,
No. Oh, Biden,
air
no fly.
traffic control. Yeah. the UFOs coming through are not like, hey, clear your traffic here. We're coming through.
Yeah.
But I just think
Oops.
that's pretty freaking cool that this is all of a sudden happening. And oh, well, my page will quit jumping around. Crazy thing.
But there's that fear
Let's see if I
again.
can
That fear thing.
right. Let me see if can I play this video? It says the Las Vegas police officer captured a UFO on his body cam.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get it to play. I think it's going to play. We just get a still shot picture.
Yeah, I see those arrows. It makes me think the
Yeah.
same. Looks like a
But
spear, a
that's,
bluish. Yeah.
yeah, energetic
Mm-hmm.
light floating through the sky.
Yeah,
Pretty close to him,
electroplasma
too.
blue.
Don't that look pretty close?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's something totally different. All right. So, anyway, I'm done with that.
That's
I'll stop.
funny. You know, they're like it
I'll stop
poses
the
a
share.
safety you know, it's like,
Right.
you know, they don't worry about it. Just relax. You know what I mean? They're not, they know to look out
Yeah.
for it. We don't need to, you know, check your 360 when you're up there, check your airspace around you. You know,
Right.
they know what they're doing.
Right. No need
E-
to panic.
Yeah, even if we get a little too involved, you know, like Travis Walton did, you know, they can fix you up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna just vent a little bit just between me and you and everybody listening.
Okay.
I'm gonna vent because I'm really getting hella frustrated with everybody wanting to say, or not everybody, but a lot of people on the group, on the alien group, wanting to be like, they're just demons. They're all demons. I'm like, come on. They're not
Well,
all. I mean, yes, we know there are bad guys,
sure.
right? I mean, like, we know there's bad
Absolutely.
ones,
Yeah.
but why does no one want to be on board, or those people anyway, don't want to be on board with the possibility that there's good ones? I mean, there's good humans and bad humans.
Right. It
There's
doesn't
there's
stop here.
good dogs and bad dogs,
Yeah. It doesn't stop
you
there
know?
either. Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
the yin and yang, y'all.
Fortunately, you know, we haven't had that kind of experience because like you said, yeah, I believe it. I
Yeah.
definitely believe it. But and I know traditionally in Mexico they called you know, aliens demons. You know,
Yeah,
I mean
yeah. Diablo.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
And
It's all
maybe it's
Diablo.
just more entertaining. I don't know. We like to be scared, you know.
Right. And that could be all it is. It's just, let's just keep them in the fear factor, right?
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter what, you know, what your if your message is peace, love, and light, and you share a little bit of your experience with somebody that goes off and puts it on a major network, just a quick little, you know, maybe a 5 to 10 second clip, let's say.
Yeah.
This actually happened to me where I sent in this little short video, and there's nothing in there at all that I'm saying that I was frightened and I
Hmm.
was, you know, scared for my life.
Yeah.
And they take that little clip and they throw it in the pile of fear, and
Yes.
and they made it look like, you know, I was in danger. And
Yes.
it just all in the word of entertainment. You know, it's got to be
Yeah.
entertaining.
Right. Right. They need that fear factor. And I can even speak to that because at one point, right before COVID actually happened, like literally the month before it happened, I was supposed to do a show. I was supposed to go to California and shoot the pilot episode and then the first 3 episodes with George Norrie and what the heck is Ozzy Osbourne's son's name?
Jack.
Jack Osbourne. They were producing a show together about alien encounters.
That's right.
And George Norrie said, you know, I know of this lady Kelly. I know a lot of her history. He was involved with a lot of different things that I had done. And so he put the word out to Jack's people and they reached out to me and talked to me over the phone and interviewed me. And they were totally stoked about getting me there, right?
Hmm.
Well, the very last phone call that I had with one of the producers, he didn't want me talking about my message. He didn't want me telling the good things. He was like, "What
Stick.
is the
Yeah.
scariest time that you can remember ever happening? That's the one we want to start with." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Are you kidding me right now? Like,
Yeah.
really? We're going to go with that instead of, because I'm like so excited because I'm like, I'm finally going to share this message with the world. They're all going to hear
Yeah.
it. It's a big production. You know, the whole world's going to know that we're all supposed to be waking up and that we're who we've been waiting for and all." And he's like, "What's the scariest event you can think of?" And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah. They're like, give me the good stuff.
Yeah. And I'm just
We
like,
don't care what you think.
what a kick in the pants, right?
Yeah.
What a
Don't tell me what
kick
you
right in
think.
the shit. He didn't want to hear about the Pleiadians, you know, that nah, that's no good. That's not good for business. It's not good
No,
for the entertainment.
that doesn't sell.
Yeah. I
They
was
got to
like,
keep
man,
their, yeah. And speaking of
whatever.
Pleiadians, man, what was I? Oh, the Pleiadians. It's like they're the ones that touched the heart of like most of humanity. Like they've had a little
Yes.
touch in this and that. The Cherokees, the uh, all over the world. It seems like they're describing these Pleiadians, and it all goes back to that star system. It's just
Yes.
truly amazing.
It's even in the Bible, Mike.
Hmm.
The Pleiadians are mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah, it's that
I
whole
mean,
mana and shamana.
yes.
The what is that? Is that what was that? The power that they need to to fly their UFOs or something, right? Mana.
They used it for a lot of things. Yeah, they used it to power the UFOs. They used it to as food. They
Oh
used
yeah,
it
that's right.
to power like the pyramids and different things,
Wow.
like
Yes.
Tesla technology type
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I did a piece on the Grand Master of the Knights Templar, and he was talking about the manna and the Ark of the Covenant, and how this was the vessel that you put the tube or whatever inside of that creates the manna, right?
Uh-huh.
And like he was explaining all of that in detail, and then he starts breaking down wording, and he starts talking about how the manna is actually the bread, like bread of life, right? Bread of creation. And I was like, wait a minute. I just did some stuff the other day on Bethlehem for my Sunday service where if you break that down, that word Bet and um, Lahim means the house of bread. Bethlehem means the house of bread. I'm like, there's
Hmm.
got to be a connection to that, right? I mean, I don't know what it is, but there's got to be a connection there. So all of this whole subject is fascinating to me. And anybody that tries to tell me that, especially Pleiadian aliens, do not have a hand in our creation and our evolution, if you will, I think they're
Yeah.
full of crap.
Yeah. I
I
think
think they just don't want to see the connection.
they're the closest, I believe, to humanity as we know it right now.
I do too. I think so too.
What's in the
Um,
bag? What's in that ancient bag?
right,
The handbag. Is it the
right.
manna? Now I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
the
was it
little
the
purse.
manna? Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably was like it probably was the manna that they were transporting somewhere or handing over to humanity, right? Teaching them how
Yeah.
to use it and create it.
Whatever it was a big enough deal for them to carve it in stone and all over the world.
Right, right. And that actually, that Grand Master of the Templar said that that's how Moses got the tablet was through this manna production machine.
Oh,
Like it
wow.
literally chiseled it right out into stone for him, or really it was like a crystallized copper. Um, and then he explained how that was actually the emerald tablet originally.
That's
And I was just
right.
like, my mind was blowing all over the place. I was just like,
Whoa.
what? This is incredible. Like we're really piecing some puzzle stuff
Hmm.
together now, I
Yeah.
love how it's all coming together. I really love
Hmm.
it.
It
I'm
does
so
feel like
stoked
that.
for this time we're in.
Yeah.
If you can't tell.
We're getting there. I mean, it started with that whole pandemic. You know, you force everybody to stay home, and they ended
Yep,
up we ended up finding deep information about ourselves. We needed
sure
that
did.
time because day in and day out, those routines is as important as it was to get up and go to work and make that money and do your job and come home every day. It was a routine that just we don't that doesn't leave us much time for
Right, kept us too
ourselves.
busy.
No,
Yeah,
it's time to go home and eat and get ready for bed so you can get up and do it all over again. Morning, Ralph. Morning,
yep,
Sam.
yep. That's right. And my whole life I've known that we were supposed to have this great awakening, and I've walked in that knowing and that faith and that trust, but I'm human, right? So I'm
Right.
like in the back of my mind, I'm like, God, how do we ever get everybody to just stand still for a minute?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
how does
my
that even
gosh.
happen? And then you remember they called it corona first.
Yes. Right.
Well, that's a Spanish word that means
This.
crown.
Mm-hmm.
And people like me started spreading that word. And I'm like, look at the blessings in this instead of the fear factors, because this really made the whole world have to stop, look at each other again, put their phones down, not be so busy. The hustle and bustle suddenly went
Yeah.
flatlined. The whole
Yeah.
world stopped. And so what did they do? They gave you the real name of it. It's patented name, COVID-19.
Yep.
Well, let's just change what we're calling it and tell them what it is, because they're taking this in a whole different route than we wanted it to go. So
Yeah.
scrap the original wording, because we can't have nobody thinking that there's any blessings in this. You
Yeah.
know,
Just like the antivirus in computers, first they develop the cure, and then they come out with the virus, and
right?
then all of a sudden you're a gazillionaire because
Right.
guess what? You've got the fix it for it.
Yeah.
And same
Isn't
thing
that how
with
they work?
COVID. Yeah.
I think that's how they work. hmm And I mean, it's called 19 for a reason, because there's,
Yeah. It's broken
what,
down.
20,
They have
there's
to.
like 21 patents on it or something.
Yeah. They have to show you. It's part of the deal. They got to show you what they're doing.
Yep.
And we just sometimes we laugh. Sometimes we laugh it off.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm not going to chuck my beliefs down anybody's throat or my research findings, but we are all in this together, and I really hope that people wake up so we don't end up going to hell in a handbasket. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but we know that something bigger is got to happen in order for that. It's not one mighty thing. It's an accumulation of quite a few
yeah.
things that are going to have to happen here, and we're we're coming to a fork in the road, or
Funny
you
you
know
would say that. Funny you would say fork in the road, because you remember the Hopi prophecy
y-
that talks about how we'll have the low road we've already
right.
traveled, or the higher road
That's
that
right.
we'll be forced between those two. Well, the other day I kind of had a little aha moment over these visions that I was shown of these different types of, like, catastrophic things that could take place, right?
Hmm.
Some of them were quite horrendous, and then others were, I mean, it was still like some stuff had changed, but nowhere near as impactful as that other vision, right? Like, I was being shown these two different outcomes, if you will, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And I never could understand the point of, I'm like, if we can all wake up, or enough of us can wake up, what would be the point of any of the extremes needing to happen? And then I kind of had that aha moment the other day that some of it's inevitable in
Yeah.
order to put that fire under people's booties that we really need. And that's very unfortunate that we're really at that place, that people are so still, in their blinders or whatever,
Yeah.
that we got to have something extreme take place, you know. That's a shame. I
Trust the
wish we could
plan.
change that, you know. Yeah, definitely trust the plan. I'm not trying to spread fear porn or anything,
Oh no, of course
but
not.
I just, I just wish we could do something easier. I wish that people in general didn't have to learn by hard means, right? That we could just do it easier. But I'm even guilty of it. I'm a tough learner, man.
Me too.
Sometimes God's really got to beat me on the head before I get it.
Yeah,
So,
and like you were talking about that Nibiru, making that, what is it? It's like a 3,500 year orbit, right? We're part of that binary system, right?
yeah. Yeah.
And it just seems like this keeps happening. I really feel like we get into this predicament, and maybe this does feel like, and the elite know this. It's this is part of the ancient knowledge is they know that this thing comes around every 3,500 years, and it does
Yeah.
affect so much more than we think. And it's not just the whole, look, there it is, wow. No, we start to feel it immediately as soon as it starts to pierce our, anywhere near our the system that we have come to familiar with the sun, and and with our planets, our local planets that we talk about. As soon as this thing starts getting close, it starts affecting everything. I mean, the moon affects us, daily, on a
Right.
daily basis, just pulling and tugging on our tides and our emotions and everything. Can you imagine what
Right.
this giant planet or binary sun
Yeah.
is doing to us? Makes
Yeah.
you wonder if we're
It
right there again.
it does. And I really feel like we are. I really sincerely feel like we are, and yeah, I think that the top elite people, the ones that have the money to buy the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
or that hide the knowledge, or whoever they may be, I think they know, and that's why they've built their underground bunkers, and I think
Yeah.
that they continue to try to keep us busy and
Mm-hmm.
focused in other places. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but I see so many people now, like content creators on YouTube that I watch regularly that would do like ghost videos that are now turning their focus more towards spiritual enlightenment and UFO sightings and putting the connection together. I mean, you can see some real changes happening in a lot of the content creators that I typically watch just for entertainment purposes only, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they're you can see them changing and evolving. So, and these are people that have done the same, like they do reaction videos to paranormal stuff or whatever, and that's their gig, right? Or they go out and
Mm-hmm.
they walk around cemeteries and that's their gig. And now all of a sudden they're like, they've had a sighting or somebody they know has had a UFO sighting. And so they're totally changing their whole platform, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, this is huge.
See,
And a
it
lot of
all.
them are seeing the same things I'm seeing in other places as well, which is interesting to me. It's like, "Hey, I just watched a video on this," or, "Hey, I just saw that in the news that I look at," right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing a video on it. That's interesting.
Yeah. See, there's a thin line there. There's a very thin line between ghosts, UFOs, Sasquatch, Nessie,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
it may be. They all
Oh,
share
yeah.
a very small portion, a thin portion of the electromagnetic spectrum of
Yes.
of the paranormal. There's no way you could be prejudiced. I think we've talked about this where, I was watching Ghost Adventures, one of my favorite shows, and they were pretty much making fun of Jay because he had a vision of an alien standing in front of him when they locked him into a room for a really long time. And that was it was something that he was embarrassed to even bring up. He's like, oh geez, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. All right, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but there was an alien standing in front of me, or whatever. So then they kind of just like lightheartedly made fun of him. But it's like, how could you make fun of him when you guys are going, look what you guys are dealing with day in and day out, with
Yeah.
your ghosts and everything. And yet UFOs is a little too much, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know that, Luis Alejandro, or
Mhm.
however you say his name, I'm
Lazan, yeah.
yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
they
I
have a
knew I was
nickname
butchering
for him
it.
now, the
Yeah,
Zondo or whatever.
because his name is kinda hard for me to say. I actually saw an interview with his wife yesterday where, she was talking about he has sort of become a magnet, if you will, for drawing in these UFO activity type things, to the point that at their house, she was seeing orbs passing through their house inside their home, right?
Hmm.
And they directly correlated this with the UFO activity, whereas most people would be like, "Oh, I'm seeing an orb. That must be a ghost," right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's a perfect example of how a lot of times people think they've got like a poltergeist or a ghost thing going on, and really it's UFO and alien activity.
Kelly, That's something that I noticed is with these orbs. When you watch these orbs, which I wasn't a big fan of at first because it wasn't dramatic enough. My experience was so dramatic, it left me kind of a non-believer with these orbs things. Excuse me. But when you look at the orbs and the way they move, so crisp, so
Yeah.
fast sometimes, it reminds me of a UFO. I know what a UFO looks like. I know
Yes.
how it moves, and it can move like that. It's very
Hmm.
calm, cool, calculated, crisp, intentional,
Right.
nothing accidental. Every movement is just very,
Right.
yeah, orbs. Wow.
Yeah.
They
And
could, we call them many things.
I think the clearest way to discern between alien orbs and um, spirit orbs is that the spirit orbs typically are smaller, right? They're littler. You see them zip through like a camera lens, in front of a camera lens or something, you know.
Mhm.
I get a lot of little orbs like that on my infrared cameras that I have outside, my security cameras. You can see them, and they're just sort of, you know, willy-nilly and wherever. It's not like they're almost like they're not truly navigating very well, right? Whereas the alien orbs look more plasmic, right? More energetic. They typically have color to them, like blue or a bright white or a red or an orange or something.
Mhm.
They typically have the color, and they look like a little fireball, right?
Yeah.
Like a miniature sun moving
Hmm.
around. And I think that's how people could use some discernment to try to tell the difference there. But the whole, like, even ghosts get lumped into that. Oh, they're demonic. It's not really grandma trying to communicate with you. It's a demon.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, I speak to dead people. That's what I do for a living. Like, they do exist. They do try to get messages to their loved ones, and it's not anything nefarious. It's always something to ease the living person's mind and help them to move on, you know?
Yeah. You know,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
when people describe being on the other side, you know, to me it sounds a lot like how sometimes we feel in our dreams, you
Yeah.
know, and and it's like, you know, you think if this guy's a, you know, if this person's a ghost, then just go towards the light, you know, what's the big deal, right? And it's like you don't know until you're in that frame of mind where
Yeah.
it's I can imagine being in a dream like just loss, you know, for how I deal with things day to day is just gone. Now it's like I could be easily controlled now, even more like from like another spirit. I can't leave this house anymore. Why can't I leave this area? You know,
Mhm.
it's just interesting that there's always seems to be a spirit that is in charge and kind of controlling the others that may be a little bit more weaker or newer to the game.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
fresh from this side.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't really learned the ropes yet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep, I find that interesting too. I don't know really how to explain it, but it's definitely very interesting, and it does seem to be a thing.
Yeah, we could be visiting this realm when we do sleep. I mean, that's why it sounds a lot like you know, a dream state because it's
Mhm.
coming from a dream state. You know,
Right.
we just call it dreaming, but man,
Right.
there's
And you
something.
know, go ahead.
Yeah, there's something in us that takes off. You know, when we're ready,
Oh
when we hit
yeah.
that peak of where we need to fall asleep, it knows when it's time to go and have recess.
That's right. That's right. And just to circle back a little bit, we were talking about these cyclical events that happen every 35 or 3600 years, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like we have something called DNA memory within us.
Yeah,
So we remember past lives, we remember the knowledge of our ancestors, right?
ancestral.
Things,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And to me, this time that we're in is kind of like deja vu on steroids, right? Because
Yeah,
we're waking up and we're like, oh, wait, I might have experienced this before. you know,
Yeah. Right.
let's do something different this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely. It has that feeling for sure. And it's just so, all these apocalyptic events, and like you said, I think timelines change, and either they change or you tune in to what you want to experience. You know what I mean? That fork in the road, like you said, could be one towards enlightenment and one that just carries on the way we're going now. That's what you
Yeah.
chose. That's what you get. There's no time
Yeah.
limit. There's no real rules. We have free will, and that's just part
100%.
of the learning curve. If
Yep.
that's part of our learning curve this time around, or the next 5 or 10 or 20 or 100 times around, if we just have to keep going straight and not go towards enlightenment, then that's what we chose to tune into.
Yes. I agree with you 100% there. And I think that free will does play a huge role in it. And I feel like, there's so many people that talk about how you can manifest your own reality, right?
Hmm.
You can live your best life right now. Why wouldn't that also apply to creating this newer, more harmonizing timeline that you want to be a part of?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we are collectively doing that. Everybody that's on that page, that's the timeline that we're creating. Everybody that still wants to be on the other timeline or a different timeline, you know, whoever's in that group, that's the timeline they're going to create. Yeah.
Heaven could be here, right here on earth. We've heard
Yeah.
that. Heaven on earth.
Sure.
Just tune in.
That's right. Tune into that
I mean,
instead
it
of tuning
sounds
into the
easy,
fear.
but like
Yep.
you said, how can you get us all on the same page?
Right.
Well, I think someone has a plan to get us all on the same page. There's a lot of powerful things that happen when you get us all on the same page, because we could start to really do things,
Yeah.
and we really can make the momentum shift, or that counterweight, like we were talking about, a certain amount
Right.
of our population, that counterweight starts to tilt a little more,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
I agree. I agree. I feel like we are on a tipping point, where we're going to change the scales one direction or another. And I'm trusting the plan. I think
Yeah.
we've got intelligent creators out there that are, you know, even though they're allowing for the free will, they're still managing us, right? The
Yeah.
way that we manage our children, but we allow them to make their own choices and
Yep.
mistakes and whatever. Like I think they're still invested in watching us and helping
Mm-hmm.
where they can without stepping over the
Right.
line, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Loosening those apron strings a little at a time.
Yeah.
Just like any good parent should. And yeah,
Yeah. At a higher level, I definitely feel like that's what's happening.
yeah, I do too.
And
And,
and
and to me, it's kind of comforting, right?
yeah, it's like,
Kind of
don't worry
comforting
about it.
that way.
Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. Don't resist. Embrace it. Just
yeah,
they know what's better for us. And
yep,
it's not like I'm giving them all that power. You know what I mean? I know that we're just as powerful, if not more. And
we just haven't learned it all yet,
yeah, we've got
right?
a lot of unlearning to do.
That's right. And new learning, we got new learnings to do.
I was thinking about the whole sound and light thing, how it's related. And why wouldn't it be? Because it scientifically, I believe it is related. The color of light that we perceive is is dependent on how fast the sound is. The
hmm
speed of the sound is where you get, that's what light is
Yeah,
sound sped up. you know
yeah,
and from what I gathered, the best way to transfer information, let's say, into a biological subject like ourselves, is through light.
yes,
And then I think back to my experience when I had the grand light show that the UFO put before me. It was the most beautiful, amazing moment of me standing there beneath the flying saucer when it put on this multicolored light show. Some people in my family think I'm colorblind. I think I'm just color dumb. Like there's certain subtle differences, like in the light, like light green, dark greens, and stuff like that. I just chalk them all up to one. I
Right.
think I'm just color dumb, not color blind.
Color dumb. That's a
Yeah.
new word.
But to me, Kelly, it really felt like I was seeing colors that weren't even in the normal spectrum of which I
Uh-huh.
see colors. To me, there was
Mhm.
more. It was just so shocking. And I remember thinking, no one's going to believe this. But, and I think it was in part, of me thinking that it had some kind of electrical issue. And I was questioning the fact that if this is an advanced technical, advanced UFO, why does it look like it has an electrical problem? And then all of a sudden I thought it was showing off, like it was like showing me we're fine. There's nothing wrong up here. But yeah, the movement of these lights too during the light show, it started off kind of slow and then it just sped up faster and faster. But it sounds right. It sounds right. It feels right when you're talking about sound and light, working
Mhm.
together and how it's related to keep
Yeah.
these UFOs, up and running. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't it have to work with all these? Someone's already figured it out, and I think it's Mother Nature. It's like even when the UFOs and the aliens, when they come into our space, they respect the Mother Nature. They know that there's certain things they have to do.
Right.
They know they need to tune down, tune up, whatever they need to do to do whatever they have to get through. They have to abide by the laws of nature, which is
Right. Our
gravity, the
physics.
Schumann the resonance that
Mhm.
our planet puts off just a bunch of noise. Have you seen
Mhm.
that video where they're going planet to planet and they're showing you all these beautiful sounds that each planet
Yes.
makes, and then when they come over planet Earth, all you hear is, live, Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, all kids under 6 inches, just $5. That's right, all
Yeah.
kids under 6 inches. It's just a mess of audio, radio signals.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But we do have our own musical sound, just like all other planets too. The
right.
the
If we
Schumann
weren't
the Schumann
resonance,
resonance.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you also hear, our attempt at reaching out and trying to find other
Sure.
life too, and I
Yeah.
don't know if it was Carl Sagan he was a little worried about that. When we
Mhm.
decided that we were going to send out radio waves to try to find other life on other planets. Now I understand what he kind of was talking about. Like, why would we reach out to another civilization that's close to kind of where we're at? That's dangerous. We are dangerous. Get a gun, shoot it.
Right.
Why would we want to just relax? They're here, they're all around us. We don't
Mhm.
need to send out these, radio frequencies in hopes that one day if we do, it may very well be a civilization that's at or around where we are at right now. And that's scary.
Yeah. I agree. It's risky and it's scary and probably dangerous. Probably is.
Yeah.
But just to circle back a little bit to where you were talking about light and sound
Okay.
happen to coincide with each other
Mm-hmm.
and color being a part of that as well. Um, I think that that is actually part of what's at play with us right now, with all of the extra solar energy that's happening, that is ramping up the Schumann resonance and changing the vibration of the planet, which also is going through us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
changing us where our frequency is getting dialed
Mm.
up, the Earth's frequency is getting dialed up. I think it's a beautiful little concert happening,
Ah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Going through our energy,
Uh huh.
our chakras,
Yeah.
like
And
you
we
said,
don't even realize we're part of the band.
right, and it's all tied together. It's all in us. And when you think of, 7 chakras and 7 this, 7 that, all the
Yeah.
planets and the colors, man, does it all go
Yep.
together hand in hand.
Right. Definitely exciting times.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I love that you always are picking up what I'm throwing down.
Well, you have a fun way of going about it. I may not be the smartest man in the world, but I do know what love is.
Well, I think we have this very good connection where we're kind of on the same wavelength, when we're talking. It's like we're
Yeah.
we're symbiotic with each other.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so. You
Yeah.
know when I'm uncomfortable, you already sense a lot of things about my energy, and
Yeah.
I'm just not as confident in a lot of things, and I do need people like you in my life. Some right here,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
I can tell a difference in your energy just since we
Mhm.
started doing the show tonight.
Yeah, I try to
Yeah.
chalk it up to, I just woke up from a nap. I went into work for a couple hours, and I'm thinking, no, Mike, just
Yeah.
accept the fact that your energy is off, and that's okay. We're not, we're not
It is
walking
okay.
around totally activated all day long.
That's right.
No, we're not. It's
That's right.
a practice. You just got to be mindful of these things, and that's why I said thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
I told you
Yeah. Oh,
thank you because
you're
I
welcome.
appreciate
I
you reading that and telling me
Yeah.
that, because I need to hear it.
Yeah, and I love that just us getting together and connecting has, raised your vibration and now you're feeling more like you.
Yeah, I needed you right now, right here, right now,
Right.
watching the world slip into history.
I love it. I love it. Sing it, baby.
I just did.
Love it. Oh wait, let me get my lighter out.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I love it. Yes.
It's a choice we're making. We're changing our whole life. It's true. We make a better day. It's you and me.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's me. I'm the clown.
That's a great way to end the show right there. I love it. With your little solo.
Whoa.
You just went from being Skywalker to being Han Solo. See that?
Yeah,
See how you did that?
Yeah, you'll be here all week, won't you?
Right. Love it.
Oh my God.
So much fun.
Yeah. I love that you're in my life right now. And
Oh, I
that's
love that you're in my life. I wouldn't be smiling and laughing like this if you weren't here.
Oh my gosh, my cheeks are hurting.
Oh, you poor
Ah,
thing.
I know. What do you call that? Trouble in paradise.
You gonna sing another one?
I wrote a song about it. Want to hear
Cue
it?
the
Here
music.
it go.
Cue the music.
Where's the hook or the gong?
Right.
Yeah, the gong.
Oh my God. You crack me up. Okay, anything else we want to talk about?
No, I think we covered enough for tonight.
We sure covered a lot of ground, and I don't even feel tired.
No, I
I
just
don't
finished.
even feel tired from all that walking we just did.
These boats were made for walking.
That's just what they'll do.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk on
Walk all
over
over
you.
you. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Well, I guess that's a good place for us to call it a night, ladies and gentlemen.
All right,
Thank you
let's
for
try it
being
again.
here. Until next time, be well and be blessed in love and light. See you later. Peace
See
out.
ya. Peace.